Hapaday, Taro, and welcome to Marianas Stories, coming to you live from home, of course. We're all supposed to be home, social distancing because of COVID-19. And so thank you to the Humanities Council for allowing me to interview a World War II survivor, very close to my heart, my mom. Mom, thanks for being here.
Thank you. And greetings to all you out there, listeners.
You know, today actually, it being Women's Month, and the American Memorial Park was supposed to have a discussion, a panel, a presentation with women who are World War II survivors. And of course, that was canceled, as many of our public events have been. And so I thought it would be a great opportunity to finally do something that I've actually really wanted to do for a long time, which is interview my mom. So, who are you, Mom?
Rafaela Odoshi Perry, formerly Rafaela Odoshi.
Okay. And so you were actually 10 days old when the invasion happened.
Yes, I was born on June 5th, 1944, at the Chalanquiza, where the family were living at that time before the invasion.
So you are the oldest, actually, of all your brothers and sisters, correct?
Yes, I am the oldest, and I have five brothers and 6 sisters.
So a lot of what Mom knows about what happened during the war was, of course, told to her by elders. What happened when the invasion happened on June 15th?
On June 15, when the war just started, our dad, put a cow that is not trained to be pulling a bull cart, and got us on there with my mom and other cousins. That's what I was told. And we started going up the hill from Chalanquiza up to Asfalapi, which is above Chinatown, to a cave where we hid during the invasion.
So this bull that was in this cart actually was not trained to pull a bull cart.
Yes. And my mom told me that looks like the Holy Family, because Dad was the one holding onto the bull and leading the bull in our journey to the cave.
So tell us a little bit more about this cave.
On our journey, the cave is still there in the 70s when we came from Maine, my 3 children and myself only, to visit. And I saw the cave and the boulder that I was dug, and the family dug it out and made a space for us, and I was stuck underneath it. And of course they camouflage it with, whatever they can get. And we stayed there until the bombing stopped, and then we started down to the cave. And when we reached the cave, our other relatives were there already.
How big is this cave?
I really don't get it.
The part that you saw because I don't actually remember going to this cave.
No, it was only myself.
Okay.
And the families.
How big was the part that you saw when you visited there?
Well, I cannot really tell because it was dark inside when we were there, and I'm afraid to go in at that time. I don't know if anything will fall down or I'll fall into a hole.
That's a good point. You don't go into any caves that you're not familiar with or you can't really see carefully. So you were there, and the invasion was going on, and then what happened?
And when it I think when they stopped bombing, these gentlemen, Marine, came to the cave and found us. And at that time, he asked my parents what is my name, and I don't know. It was just luckily that they could understand each other, and they told him I don't have any name, and he wanted me to be named after him, and the Marine name is Rafael with P-H-A-E-L-R-A-P-H-E-L Griffin. And he wanted me to be named after him, and they said that cannot be it because he's a girl. So when they what is that, baptized me, my name spelled like the Spanish spelling, Rafaela.
So this Marine actually asked, I think it was the custom in that day, like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if you know this, but like they would wait 30 days before the baptism, and then, so the baby wasn't necessarily named right away, especially if there's an invasion going on.
Yeah.
But have you, I think I've heard something like
Yeah.
that. Have you heard?
Yes, I'm sorry, but I remember that I wasn't baptized right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the custom also, because even nowadays, or I remember when I was growing up, people would say like, don't leave the house for 30 days or something like that, after you deliver or with the baby.
Yeah, without being baptized. Yeah.
So that's how you got this name, Rafaela, which is so cool. And did your parents discuss anything about like what happened at the civilian camps? Do you remember any stories?
Very, very little. I remember going from Lalifor, walking up to the hospital where the Marianas Eye is at. And I could see, the setting of the hospital. I was just a small girl. But at the end of the hospital is the morgue. And, the morgue was right next to what they call it, this scary tree. Like they said, a lot of Totamonas, ancient people lived there. And that's at the end of the hospital. But I remember very vaguely that as I passed through the beach road now, it was like a barbed wired alone. That's all I can remember.
You personally?
Yes.
So at the time that you were discovered by this Marine, if I understand correctly, Nang and Tang only knew that his name was Rafael. But there's an interesting story about how you found out what his name really is. What happened? Were you able to find out what his last name was?
That's very interesting because I volunteered to work for our U.S. Congressman from the state of Maine. His name is Congressman Dave Emery.
His dad's from Maine, so they moved to Maine before I was born.
Yes, we moved to Maine in '69, before you were born. And I volunteered in his regional office in Rockland, Maine. And I said, oh, good, this will be a good chance for me to find out. So I search and search and search because I have all these freebies, phone listing in the DC. So I finally got a hold of somebody at the Arlington, and I found out about him, that she said to me that was the only Rafael that came during the invasion. So
that was like stationed here during the invasion, the Battle of Saipan. There was only one man, one service member named Rafael.
Yes, and so I talked about it to Paul, and Paul said, "Okay, we can take a trip and try." So we went down to Arlington, and I explained to the girl. I said, I was named after him, and I would like to see if I can see his grave. And she gave us the direction where to go, and we found a tombstone with his name and his wife name on it.
I actually remember that trip to Arlington. It was like a family trip that we took to Washington, D.C. I remember going to the cemetery. I don't think I really understood why we were looking for this particular grave, but then now that I'm older, of course, it's quite significant.
Yeah.
How did you feel at that?
Oh, I feel very, very happy.
Why are you crying if you're happy?
And sad because I don't even see him.
Aww.
And, I'm very grateful to the veterans for what they have done all this time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that. Some people might not like it, but, I'm grateful, always grateful, and I'm always willing to volunteer into these things that, that the veterans are in it, if I can.
You actually have, your shirt today actually is from the 60th anniversary, and it says, "Our grateful islands remember." Yeah. When all of the, young people from the war or survivors of the war.
We march with the
Liberation Day
with
parade.
the soldiers or the vets that were here during that time.
Yeah. But this is actually not the end of the story, because there was recently something that happened that's kind of another chapter in this story about your birth and your namesake. What is it that happened recently?
Maybe three years ago, there was a student named Stephanie Soder from North Carolina University.
Okay.
And she came here and interviewed me at the office of the agent, the Manamco Center. And I told her about my story, and I told her that I still would like to meet the families. And she went back and made search and got me connected to one of the family. Is a grandson or great-grandson of my namesake, Rafael Griffin. His name is Tim Griffin, and we communicate, exchanging words by emails by emails.
So how did it make you feel when you were actually able to make contact with a living family member?
I told them that I told Tim that I'm very thankful for what his grandfather was doing, because he brought me a lot of milk while he was visiting from the mess hall.
Yeah, so I don't know how this part of the story actually works, but Mom was saying that from the time he was a colonel, right? I can't remember his rank, but
yeah, he was a colonel when he
that's
landed
what I
here.
thought. Colonel Griffin encountered them. I guess there was a period of time where they were still in the cave. As we know, the U.S. military was not prepared for such a large civilian population when they came. That's the only reason I can think of why this part of the story makes sense, in that he would come back and bring milk for her to the cave, to our family at the cave. It's plausible. It's oral history, so.
And to top it off, he always asked to carry me, and the elders, just maybe wonder what is he gonna do. So they just agreed because they were afraid of being armed by him. So they said okay. And
but keep an eye on him.
Yes, and keep an eye. That's right, and keep an eye on him wherever he goes, so he won't kidnap me.
Another part of the story that I wanted to ask you about that I kind of overlooked was when you guys were in the cave, do you know how you survived?
Well, I don't know about the others, but all I know is what they told me, that Dad used to go out almost every day looking for young coconuts for 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 me to drink. But meantime, he found out that these elders putting out is the culture, the local culture of the Carolinian, putting out the coconuts for asoma, meaning sharing the first. Actually, it meant sharing the first catch of fish to the spirits, and now they kind of added on that whatever they have, they can always share it with the spirits. They took it out and hung it up on the trees wherever, and when my dad found out about that, he was really mad. He said, "I didn't go out to look for asoma. Those things are for my daughter."
I mean, imagine, right? He just had his first child, so you can kind of
Yeah.
understand why he would feel that way.
That's
So,
right.
do you feel that your family's experience during the war and the stories that have been shared with you have helped you in your life as far as like overcoming difficulty or understanding what is necessary to overcome difficulty? How do you feel this experience and the stories that were told to you has influenced you as a person?
Well, I learned from young age. Our dad is a part Korean, and I know that, he insisted that we learn whatever he asked us to do, because whenever I said, "Okay, Dad, I tried and I didn't get it," and I was already getting mad because he said, "Try it, try it, try it," and I tried. So he taught us not to give up. Keep on until you find the answer or whatever you're looking for. Don't never give up. Keep on, because you'll get it. And that's me. I keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. And I hope that someday that I will meet the family of, he became a general, Raphael Griffin, one of these days. I'm still hoping, and one of these days I'll meet them.
Before we end, any thoughts on COVID-19 and any advice or words of inspiration you can give us as we're all facing this situation?
This situation, I'm a great believer in God. We just pray and follow what is good that they've been giving out on the media. This is my advice. Follow what is given out on the media for your own good and your family and everybody, and don't stop praying. God is always good, and I know that for fact, because He's always good to me.
Thanks, Mom, for sharing. Anything else you want to add before we go?
I wish everybody a safe living from this virus. Let's put our efforts together and pray for each other. Okay, God bless us all.
We've been chatting today with my mom here at my house, Rafaela Odoshi Perry. I wore my Guam shirt today because I just wanted to send out love to all of our brothers and sisters in Guam and throughout the world who are facing actual cases of COVID-19. We sending you our prayers and best wishes that this epidemic will end soon. And thank you all for watching Marianas Stories. Practice your social distancing and take care of yourselves.
And thank you to Humanities Council for having me on the air with our daughter, Catherine Rosario Perry.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice afternoon here.
Thank you.